The morning had started just like any other in Washington, D.C., with the usual bustle of commuters and the gentle hum of the city coming to life. But as the day progressed, an unsettling quiet descended, and the sky darkened ominously, not with clouds, but with the massive silhouettes of alien spacecraft. Jack Harper stood in the open doorway of his workshop, eyes fixed skyward, wrench still in hand. The vehicles, immense and foreboding, hung over the city like dark specters. Beside him, his old Air Force buddy and fellow engineer Tom Walters muttered under his breath, "You seeing this, Jack?" "Yeah," Jack replied, his voice a mixture of awe and anxiety. "Looks like every sci-fi movie we ever watched is coming true right over our heads." The sound of sirens filled the air, a stark contrast to the eerie silence that had fallen over the area moments before. Phones started buzzing with emergency alerts and news updates, painting a grim picture of similar sightings all over the world. Tom pulled out his phone, scrolling through the news. "It's not just us. They're everywhere. London, Beijing, Moscow. This is an invasion, isn't it?" "It sure isn't a friendly visit," Jack said, squinting as he tried to make out details on the nearest ship. Just then, their friend and former squadron leader, Mike Anderson, pulled up in his truck, a cloud of dust swirling behind him. "Boys, I don't know about you, but I didn't sign up for retirement just yet. Looks like the world needs some good pilots and engineers again." Jack nodded, a determined glint in his eye. "What's the plan, Mike?" Mike climbed out of the truck, his face set in a grim line. "First, we need to figure out what we're dealing with. I've got a contact at the Pentagon. They're putting together a task force, military and civilian. They need experts, people who can reverse engineer whatever tech these guys have brought with them." "And then?" Tom asked, his expression serious. "And then we fight back," Mike said, clapping a hand on Jack's shoulder. "We take the fight to them, with their own technology if we have to." The trio quickly gathered their gear, preparing to head into the city. The streets were chaotic, filled with people trying to flee, but the determination of the three men was unshakable. As they drove, they tuned in to the emergency broadcast, listening to the government urging calm and announcing the formation of a global defense initiative. Reaching the makeshift command center, a buzz of activity greeted them. Officials hurried back and forth, coordinating responses and gathering data. A high-ranking officer recognized Mike and waved them over. "Captain Anderson, glad you could make it. We're gathering all the help we can get. Harper, Walters, your reputations precede you. Glad to have your expertise on board," the officer said, extending his hand in greeting. "Thank you, sir," Jack replied, shaking his hand firmly. "We're ready to do whatever it takes." As they huddled around screens showing live feeds from around the world, the scale of the challenge ahead became clear. But so did the resolve in every room's corner, a resolve mirrored in Jack, Tom, and Mike's eyes. They were no strangers to conflict, but this was something beyond anything they had faced before. Yet, the unspoken bond between them, forged in the skies of numerous battles, felt stronger than ever. The next morning, the world woke to a sense of dread and urgency. News networks ran non-stop coverage of the alien ships, now stationed ominously above major cities across the globe. Governments scrambled to respond, and the airwaves were filled with calls for calm and resilience. In Washington, D.C., the temporary command center was buzzing with activity. Jack, Tom, and Mike sat around a cluttered table strewn with maps, digital tablets, and cups of coffee gone cold. The room was charged with a palpable tension as military strategists and scientists worked together to form a coherent response. "All right, everyone, listen up," General Martinez, the appointed head of the task force, called out, commanding the room's attention. "We've established that the aliens haven't made any direct hostile moves yet, but their intentions are anything but clear. We need to prepare for every possibility." Jack leaned in, his engineering mind already turning over the possibilities. "General, if we can get our hands on any of their tech, I'm confident we can begin to understand and maybe replicate some of their capabilities." General Martinez nodded. "That's the spirit, Harper. I want you and your team to focus on that. We've managed to bring down a smaller scout ship intact near Denver. I'm sending you there to see what you can salvage." Tom, ever the pragmatist, chimed in. "What about defenses, General? If they decide to attack, we need to be ready to protect the civilian population." "That's our top priority, Walters," the general assured him. "We're mobilizing all available resources, but understanding their technology could give us the edge we desperately need." Mike looked around at the assembled team, a mix of military personnel and civilian experts. "Let's get to it then. The sooner we understand what we're dealing with, the better our chances of defending our home. With a plan in action, the trio geared up and headed to Denver. The journey was tense, with military checkpoints and nervous citizens making the roads chaotic. Upon arriving at the crash site, the scene was like something out of a movie. Burned-out trees, a deep crater, and the alien ship, largely intact, surrounded by armed guards. "Jack, Tom, this is what we trained for," Mike said, clapping them on the back as they donned their hazard suits. "Let's see what secrets this thing holds." Inside the ship, the technology was unlike anything they had ever seen, sleek, efficient, and glowing with an eerie light. Jack's hands moved over alien consoles, his mind racing as he tried to decipher their functions. "Look at this," Jack exclaimed, pointing to a panel that seemed to control the ship's propulsion. "This is advanced, but not incomprehensible. We can learn from this, maybe even adapt it for our use." Tom took detailed photos, documenting everything for the teams back at the command center. "Every bit of data counts," he reminded them, his camera flashing repeatedly. Hours passed as they worked tirelessly, extracting components and data. As night fell, they returned to the base camp, exhausted but exhilarated by the progress they'd made. Back at the command center, General Martinez greeted them. "Good work, gentlemen. Let's see what our scientists can make of your findings. You may have just given us the first real hope since this nightmare began." As they settled down to rest, the weight of their responsibility lingered heavily on them. They were not just fighting for their country now, but for the entire planet. Tomorrow, they would dive back into the alien technology, each day learning more, each discovery a step closer to understanding how to defend their world. The call to arms had been sounded, and humanity was rising to meet it. Under the pale morning light, the makeshift lab at the Denver base buzzed with activity. Jack, Tom, and Mike were back at work, surrounded by alien technology sprawled across every available surface. The air was thick with the smell of solder and the sound of hushed, urgent conversations. "Jack, take a look at this," Tom called out, holding up a strange metallic device. "I think it's some kind of energy cell, way more advanced than any battery tech we have." Jack peered over, his eyes narrowing in concentration. "If we can figure out how it works, we might be able to power up our own tech with it. Let's run some tests." The day was spent in a frenzy of engineering and reverse engineering. Each discovery led to more questions, but slowly, a picture began to form of how the alien technology operated. Mike coordinated with other units, reporting their findings and integrating information from teams across the globe. As dusk settled, General Martinez convened a meeting in the command center, a large map of the United States laid out in front of them. "Based on your work, we've identified a vulnerability in the aliens' communication network," he said, pointing to a location in Nevada. "There's a relay station there. If we can take it out, it might just give us the edge we need." "Sounds like a plan, General," Mike replied, his voice firm. "Jack, Tom, are you ready for a field mission?" Both nodded, the resolve clear in their eyes. "Let's do it," Jack responded. They geared up, joining a team of elite soldiers equipped with hybrid technology weapons derived from the alien tech. The journey to Nevada was tense, with the team aware of the stakes. Arriving under the cover of darkness, they approached the alien relay station, a towering structure pulsing with light. "Tom, you and I will plant the explosives," Jack whispered, handing Tom a small, powerful device. "Mike, cover us with the team." They moved stealthily, avoiding alien patrols with the aid of a cloaking device Jack had adapted from the salvaged tech. Reaching the base of the structure, they set to work rigging the explosives. Suddenly, an alien patrol appeared, their strange, clicking language filling the air. Mike's team engaged, the sound of gunfire muffled by silencers. Jack and Tom worked feverishly as the battle raged around them. With a final check, Jack nodded to Tom. "Done. Let's move out." They retreated, reaching a safe distance just as the explosives detonated with a thunderous roar, the structure collapsing into a fiery heap. The team exfiltrated under the chaos, hearts pounding but spirits lifted by their success. Back at the Denver base, the mission was hailed as a turning point, their first real offensive win. General Martinez congratulated them, a rare smile breaking his stern demeanor. "You've done more than just take down a relay station. You've shown that these invaders aren't invincible." Exhausted but exhilarated, Jack, Tom, and Mike reviewed the mission data late into the night, already planning their next move. This victory was just the beginning, but it was a testament to human ingenuity and courage under fire. As they finally rested, the reality set in. They were no longer just defenders, but now a significant threat to the alien invaders. The battle for Earth was truly underway, and humanity was fighting back with a vengeance. Back at the command center the following day, while the team was analyzing data from the Nevada operation, an unexpected signal intercepted their communications. It was weak and obscured by static, but distinctly different from anything human or from the known alien invaders. "Jack, are you catching this?" Tom asked, his eyes glued to the signal analyzer. "It's not matching any known frequencies. Could it be?" Jack leaned in, adjusting the dials to clear up the transmission. "Let's not jump to any conclusions. Could be anything. Another human group, or a new alien threat." But as the message became clearer, they heard a voice, oddly harmonic and layered. Definitely alien, but unlike the invaders' harsh, clicking speech. "To any opposing Earth forces," the voice said, "we seek an audience. We are not with the invaders. We are refugees, victims of their conquests. We can assist." Mike listened intently, his tactical mind racing. "This could be a trap, or it could be a game changer. We need to verify their story." General Martinez agreed, his expression cautious. "Set up a secure meeting location. Harper, Walters, Anderson, you three will meet them. Assess their intentions." The coordinates were set for a remote part of the New Mexico desert. The trio, along with a small security detail, arrived at the designated spot, finding nothing but the arid, sweeping landscape awaiting them. As the sun began to set, a small craft, sleek and silent, descended toward them. The hatch opened, and 3 alien beings stepped out. They were similar in build to the human race, but with translucent skin that shimmered slightly in the fading light. "I am Lirael," the leader introduced herself, her voice the same melodic tone they had heard over the transmission. "We mean you no harm. Like you, we have suffered at the hands of the invaders. We have knowledge and technology that could aid you." Jack studied them, his engineer's curiosity piqued. "Why help us?" he asked, genuine intrigue lacing his tone. Lirael looked towards the horizon, her gaze distant. "Our planet was destroyed, our people scattered. We fight not just for revenge, but for a chance to prevent others from suffering our fate. Your resistance gives us hope." Tom and Mike exchanged looks, the potential of this new alliance dawning on them. "What kind of technology are we talking about?" Tom inquired, ever the pragmatist. "We possess encryption technology that can shield your communications and weaponry that can pierce their shields," one of the refugees explained, stepping forward with a device that hummed with a soft glow. Mike nodded to Jack and Tom. If their tech checks out, this could level the playing field. The meeting extended into the night as they discussed strategies and shared intelligence. The refugees, having monitored the invaders for years, offered insights into their weaknesses and tactical tendencies. By the time the meeting concluded, a new alliance had been formed. As the alien craft lifted off, leaving the humans to ponder the night's revelations, Jack felt a renewed sense of purpose. This strange twist of fate, this unexpected meeting, could indeed change the course of the war. Back at the base, as they briefed General Martinez, the mood was cautiously optimistic. "Keep this under wraps until we know more," the general instructed. "But good work, all of you. This might just be the break we needed." As they prepared to integrate the new technologies into their operations, the trio felt the weight of their new responsibility. With these new allies from afar, humanity wasn't just fighting back. It was gaining ground. The new alliance with the alien refugees, known as the Nalorians, brought fresh vigor to Earth's defensive strategies. Within weeks, the Nalorians' advanced technology was integrated into the human arsenal, and their insights began to reshape Earth's approach to the war. In the command center, a large digital map displayed various points of interest around the globe. Jack, Tom, and Mike stood before General Martinez, presenting their plan for a series of coordinated strikes based on the Nalorians' intelligence. "General, with the Nalorians' encryption technology, we've managed to cloak our communications," Jack started, pointing to the map. "This means we can coordinate attacks without tipping off the invaders." Tom chimed in, his voice steady. "We've also adapted their weaponry to fit our fighters. Initial tests show it can cut through the invaders' shields like a knife through butter." Mike, ever the tactician, outlined the strategy. "We propose hitting them at these 3 key points," he said, indicating the locations on the map. "Each one is critical to their operations on Earth. Taking them out will severely cripple their ability to resupply and regroup." General Martinez surveyed the map, nodding approvingly. "It's aggressive, but necessary. Carry out the strikes as planned. Keep me updated on your progress." The first strike targeted an energy harvesting facility in Asia. Jack piloted one of the lead aircraft, equipped with the new alien weaponry. As they approached the target, the effectiveness of the Nolorian technology became clear. The facility's defenses, previously impervious to human attacks, crumbled under the assault of the new weapons. Simultaneously, Tom led a ground assault in Africa at a communications hub. With their communications cloaked, Tom's team infiltrated the hub with minimal resistance. They planted explosives and retreated just before the hub erupted in flames, its destruction ensuring significant disruption to the invaders' command structure. The third strike, led by Mike, focused on a supply depot in South America. Using the same cloaking technology, they launched a surprise attack that left the depot in ruins, its resources burning against the night sky. The success of the strikes spread like wildfire through Earth's ranks, bolstering morale and igniting a newfound hope. Celebrations were brief, however, as the teams prepared for possible retaliation. The invaders had been hit hard, but they weren't defeated yet. Back at the command center, reports came flooding in from various outposts, each recounting the successful execution of their missions. General Martinez, surrounded by his top advisors, allowed himself a rare smile. "Today we turned the tide," he declared, his voice filled with a resolve strengthened by the day's victories. "But stay sharp. The real battle has just begun." As the day ended, Jack, Tom, and Mike gathered, exhausted yet exhilarated by their victories. "We've shown them what we're capable of," Jack said, his eyes bright with the fire of success. "But this is just the start. We keep pushing, no matter what." Tom nodded in agreement, adding, "With the Nolorians on our side, we've got a fighting chance now. Let's make sure we use it." The trio looked out over the base, where preparations for the next phase of operations were already underway. Humanity had not only demonstrated its resilience, but had also shown the invaders the true meaning of human ingenuity and spirit. With each victory, they were not just defending Earth. They were fighting for its future. The successes of the coordinated strikes had a ripple effect throughout Earth's defense forces, igniting a fervor that had been dormant since the invasion began. Yet, as Earth celebrated its small victories, the alien invaders regrouped, their response swift and brutal. Across the globe, major cities saw a resurgence in attacks, each more ferocious than the last. In the command center, tension hung thick as reports of renewed alien assaults poured in. General Martinez, Jack, Tom, and Mike huddled around the strategic map, plotting out the defense. "The invaders are pushing back hard," General Martinez stated, his voice grim. "They've launched a series of counterattacks. We believe they're trying to regain their foothold." Jack examined the data streaming in, his brow furrowed. "They're not just attacking at random. These strikes are coordinated. They're targeting our newly gained positions in the cities we've managed to protect so far." Tom added, "It looks like they're trying to break our morale, hit us where it hurts to make us question our recent victories." Mike clenched his fists, the weight of command heavy on his shoulders. "We need to make a stand. If we buckle now, all our gains will be for nothing. We should consider a consolidated defense, possibly draw them into a terrain where we can have the advantage." General Martinez nodded in agreement. "That's a solid plan. We'll make our stand at the Rockies. It's defensible, and we can set up a perimeter that could hold them off. It's going to be tough, but it's our best shot." The decision made, Jack, Tom, and Mike were tasked with fortifying the Rockies, turning it into a fortress that could withstand the coming assault. They worked tirelessly, setting up defensive positions, integrating Nolorian technology into their systems, and rallying the troops. Days later, as the alien forces began their assault, the Rockies turned into a battleground. The sky was lit with the blaze of alien and human weaponry, the ground shook with explosions, and the air was filled with the roar of engines and cries of war. Jack took to the skies, leading a squadron of fighters equipped with Nolorian-enhanced weapons. They darted through the alien formations, their attacks precise and deadly. Below, Tom commanded the ground forces, moving units strategically to counter the alien advances, while Mike coordinated the overall battle from the command center, ensuring that reinforcements were sent where needed. The battle raged for days, with neither side giving quarter. The human forces, bolstered by their advanced technology and the indomitable human spirit, held their ground fiercely. The invaders, surprised by the stiff resistance, intensified their attacks, unleashing everything in their arsenal. In the midst of the chaos, Jack spotted an opening in the alien's flank. Seizing the moment, he led a daring maneuver, cutting deep into the enemy line and causing disarray. This action provided a much-needed advantage, allowing Earth's forces to push back with renewed vigor. As the sun rose on the fourth day, the smoke began to clear, revealing the extent of the devastation. The Rockies were scarred, but still standing. The alien forces, realizing the futility of their assault, began to withdraw, their numbers significantly diminished. Back at the base, the team collapsed in exhaustion, but alive with the thrill of victory. General Martinez approached them, pride evident in his stance. "You did it, gentlemen. You held the line. This victory will be remembered as the turning point in our fight for Earth." As they looked out over the battlefield, the cost of their victory apparent in every crater and burnt-out vehicle, there was no celebration, only a solemn acknowledgement of their duty. Jack, Tom, and Mike knew the war was far from over, but they had proven what Earth could do when pushed to the brink. They had shown the invaders that humanity was not to be underestimated. In the aftermath of the Great Stand of the Rockies, the command center was abuzz with activity. Maps were updated and reports flowed in, providing a clearer picture of the impact of the intense battle. General Martinez, along with Jack, Tom, and Mike, reviewed the situation, their faces marked by fatigue, but also determination. "The invaders have pulled back to regroup," General Martinez announced to the room. "They underestimated us, and it cost them dearly. But we can't expect them to make the same mistake twice." Jack, still clad in his flight suit, nodded in agreement. "We need to capitalize on this momentum, push them before they have a chance to recover." Tom, who had been examining the latest satellite imagery, pointed to a cluster of alien ships gathering in what appeared to be a strategic reserve position. "Looks like they're consolidating their forces here, possibly prepping for another push. If we strike now, we could disrupt their plans significantly." Mike, ever the strategist, chimed in. "Let's plan a series of precision strikes. We'll use the same hybrid tech that's been effective so far. Hit them hard and fast, keep them disoriented." General Martinez approved the plan, setting the wheels in motion for what they hoped would be a decisive blow to the alien forces. Teams were briefed, and within hours, Jack, Tom, and Mike were back in the field, leading their respective units. The operation commenced under the cover of darkness. Jack piloted one of the lead fighters, soaring through the night sky towards the alien reserve force. Below him, ground units moved stealthily into position, guided by Tom's expert navigation. As they neared the target, the silence was shattered by the sudden barrage of alien defenses. The battle erupted into chaos, with both sides unleashing powerful weaponry. But the humans, driven by the need to protect their planet, fought with a fierce determination. Jack's fighter squadron swooped in, releasing a volley of advanced missiles that pierced through the alien shields, thanks to the Nolorian technology. Explosions lit up the night as key alien assets were destroyed, sending shockwaves through their ranks. On the ground, Tom led his troops through the rough terrain, using the disrupted state of the alien forces to their advantage. They targeted critical infrastructure, planting explosives and sabotaging equipment. Every move was calculated to inflict maximum damage. Mike coordinated the overall assault from a mobile command unit, keeping track of troop movements and enemy responses. His commands were precise, ensuring that each unit was supported and that no effort was wasted. As dawn broke, the scale of their success became apparent. The alien reserve force was devastated, significantly weakened in both morale and capability. The humans had not only defended their territory, but had taken the fight to the enemy, proving once again their resilience and tactical acumen. Weary but victorious, the team regrouped at the command center, where they were met with cheers and applause. General Martinez addressed the gathered troops, his voice booming over the speakers. "Today you have all demonstrated the strength and courage that define humanity. We are not just survivors, we are warriors." Jack, Tom, and Mike stood together, their bond strengthened by the trials they had endured. They knew the war was not yet over, but they had delivered a critical blow that would shape the course of the conflict. As they planned their next steps, their resolve was clear. They would continue to fight, not just for victory, but for the future of Earth. The Battle of the Rockies had shown the world that when pushed to the edge, humans would not only push back, they would emerge stronger. The sun rose on a battered but unbroken Earth. In the command center, tired eyes were lifted by the promise of a new day. General Martinez, alongside Jack, Tom, and Mike, reviewed the global situation one last time. The alien forces, severely weakened by the relentless human offensive, had begun a full retreat from Earth's major strongholds. "We've done it," General Martinez announced, his voice a mix of relief and resolve. "The invaders are pulling back. Their command structure is in disarray, and their ability to sustain an occupation is compromised. We need to stay vigilant, but today, we can say we've secured our planet." Jack, who had been at the forefront of adapting and deploying the alien technology against the invaders, nodded in agreement. "It's been a long fight, but we've learned a lot. We adapted, and we overcame. This isn't just a victory for us, it's a victory for the future of humanity." Tom, ever the pragmatist, added, "We'll need to rebuild, and we'll need to be prepared. They might come back, or others might come calling. Next time we'll be ready." Mike, who had orchestrated much of the strategic defense, looked around at the faces of those who had stood together through the darkest times. "We showed them what humans are made of," he said, a hint of pride in his voice. "We didn't just defend, we united and struck back. That's the spirit we need to carry forward." Plans were made for peace and reconstruction. The alien technology, once a threat, now served as a foundation for new advances in science and defense. Humanity had not only survived, but had evolved, stepping into a new era of technological prowess and interstellar awareness. As the world leaders declared the cessation of hostilities, celebrations erupted across the globe. Yet, for Jack, Tom, and Mike, the moment was bittersweet. They remembered those who had been lost, the sacrifices made to ensure Earth's freedom. In the following weeks, a grand assembly was convened. Leaders from every nation gathered to form a new coalition, not just for defense but for the advancement of Earth as a united planet. New policies were drafted, focusing on shared knowledge and resources, ensuring that Earth would never again be caught unprepared. Jack, Tom, and Mike were honored at the assembly, celebrated as heroes of the war. But they all knew the real heroes were the countless men and women who had stood up in defense of their home, those who had fought and sacrificed without hesitation. As the assembly concluded, the trio stood together, looking out over the city that had been a battlefield but now was a testament to human resilience and unity. "We did it, guys," Jack said, his voice thick with emotion. "We really did it." "Yeah," Tom replied, clapping Jack on the back. "We did it together, and we'll keep doing it, whatever comes next." Mike looked toward the horizon, where the first stars of the evening were beginning to shine. "A new dawn for humanity," he mused, "and we're just getting started." As they walked away, their silhouettes were cast long by the setting sun. Earth had been tested, but it had endured. Now, under the stewardship of its bravest, it was stepping boldly into a future filled with endless possibilities, ready to meet the stars as equals.